Hi, welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you and talk about how to do program 9. So let's take a look at the instructions. So for program 9 is a small program, and basically all you're going to do for program 9 is you're going to take this sample code that I give you, and you're going to change everything from card to jumble game. So there's a code that has a card in it, and you want to go through it and change everything that was in it. So it's no longer card. It is now going to be jumble game. And you'll have a character array for the jumble word, a character array for the solution word, and an integer. So you're only going to have 3 fields in your struct, but you need to make changes to all the variable names, update all the comments, update all the function prototypes, function calls, and function definitions. All right, so let's get started. So here I've given you the original card code, and then I've given you a sample to get started. So I'm going to start by putting the original. First, I'm going to start by launching Visual Studio. This is not going to be a jumbled game. You're not going to play any game or anything. We're just going to work on practice changing everything to a struct and work on reading the code. So I'm going to make an empty project. I'm going to call this COP222. So it's sticking. Hold on. 2220. Jeez. Okay, program 9. And I'm going to put that on my desktop, I guess. It's fine. And now I'm going to go project, add new item, and I'm going to make it a source code, and it's going to be sortente underscore prog 9.c. All right, so now I've got my source code here, so now I can go back onto Canvas. And I'm going to download the card first, just to show you what I'm talking about. So this is should be working code that is a card struct. So I'm going to open up this. I'm going to copy and paste it into my compiler. And now I'm going to build it and make sure that it works. So let's build it. And then we'll talk a little bit about this code, and then we'll talk about what you need to do for program 9. All right, so this is let's test it just to make sure it works. Enter the face of my card is a queen. Enter the suit is hearts. Oops, I spelled it wrong. That's right. Enter the point value, 10. Enter the face is a king. Enter the suit is a spades. Enter the point value is a 12. Okay, so I can keep going. Enter the face is a 5. Enter the suit is a spades. So, and then I'm going to fill an array of cards. So I'm assuming it's working because I don't want to sit here and have you watch me do that. So let's just go through this code quickly and talk about it, and then we're going to go and work on our assignment. So here is I have a couple preprocessor directives here. Of course, these are the ones for Microsoft Visual Studio, but here we're going to have string.h, in stdio.h, and I've defined a size. So anywhere this word size is, it will be replaced by the number 20. So this is where I'm defining my structure. So in C, you use this keyword typedef struct. And then inside you put all of the fields of your struct, the data types, and we'll use the same data types that we've been using all semester: characters, integers, doubles, character arrays, integer arrays, double arrays. Those are the different data types. You can have structs within structs, but we don't do that in this class. Then I'm naming my struct. So I'm naming my new data type, and it's going to be called card. So this gets defined globally at the top of my program, and therefore I can use cards throughout my program. If you are not familiar with this, go back to the module on structures. Then I have some prototypes here. I have a fill card function. The fill card function is going to declare a temporary card, fill the card, and then return that card. I have a fill card through a pointer function. I have a fill card array function. And I have a function that displays a card, because there's no magical thing in the standard language for displaying your new data type. So when you create a structure, you need to write a function that's going to display all of the fields of or display what you want to display. So in this case, it's a small structure. It only has 3 fields, but it could be larger. We could have more information in there. All right, so that's basically what we have, and then we have our main function, and then of course we have our function definitions below. So now I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to get the code that I want you to actually work with. So this is the code I want you to work with, not the card.c. I don't want you to work with the card.c. Card.c is just there working code for you to take a look at it. But when you actually do your assignment, you want to change. You can start with card and change everything, but I gave you some help here. If you want to use the help that I provided, then you can do that. So let's put this into the compiler and take a look. So I've already made some changes here. The first thing I've done is, if you notice, our struct is no longer card. Our struct is now called jumble game. And I need to add all of the fields in here. I need to fill my jumble game. And then we're going to have a new function called fill game. It's not going to be fill card. And another function called fill game pointer. And another function called fill game array. And then display game. So you're welcome to start with the card and just change that, or you can start with the one that I've given you here and work with that. So one thing you're going to notice is that I haven't really defined the struct or added the information inside of the struct, and I have changed the function prototypes. But if you scroll down here, I haven't changed anything here. I haven't changed very much here in the main function. It's still card, and I have not changed the function definitions at all. So for me to work on this, what I would do is I would start by commenting out from here all of these function definitions and only work on one at a time. So you can choose how you want to do this, but I'm going to work on one thing at a time, make sure it works, and then move on to the other thing. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to work on this fill game function. And before I do that, I need to define my structure. So I'm going back to my instructions, and the instructions say that it needs to have a character array for the jumbled word, a character array for the solution word, and an integer for the variable win. So I go back here, and I'm going to have a character array. So I'm going to have char, I don't know, it could be called jumbled. And I'm going to use this size here. So I'm going to have a character array called jumbled. And I'm going to have a character array called, and you're not actually going to play any game. This is just practice making a structure. I'm going to have a character array called solution, and I'm going to have an integer, and the name of the integer I'm going to call is win. So now I have defined my new structure. It was card, and now it's called jumble game, and it has different data inside. Then I want to work on the fill game function. So I'm going to go down here to my fill game function and work on the fill game function definition. So the fill game function, it used to be a card. It used to return a card, but now it's going to return a jumble game, and I want to change everything. I want to change, not only do I want to change the functions, but I want to change the comments too. The whole point of this assignment is to read the code and make changes. All right. So now I need to declare a temporary jumble game. And then I want to ask the user, please enter the, what do I want to get? I want to get, please enter the jumbled word. And then I will scan that into temp C. Only it's not going to be the face. It's going to be, when I put the dot, one of the fields is called jumbled. And then I'm going to print it back onto the screen to check. So I'm going to print jumbled word is, and change this to jumbled. Then I also I'm not going to get a suit. I want the user to next to enter, please enter the solution word. And I repeat, you will not be playing any games here. You played the game in your other assignment. This is just practice with structs. All right, then I want to print it to check. So I'm going to put the solution word is. And I was nice and I gave you the same number of fields so you don't have to add extra ones. And dot solution. And then the last one, please enter the value of win, 1 or 0. And you can be creative here if you want to say other things. It doesn't really matter. The point of this solution is of this assignment is to practice doing structs. And by doing this and making these changes, you have to read the code. Notice also that because this is a character array, there's no ampersand, but this is an integer, so this will have an ampersand. And if you don't understand how the dot operator works, you need to go back and look at the module on structs. Dot win. Okay. I'll just put win value. So this function is going to declare a temporary instance of Jumble Game, prompt for the fields, and then return that instance of Jumble Game. And the other functions I've commented out, so they're not going to cause any problems with my program. Now I just need to go up and do some things with my main function. So the first thing I want to do is realize that the only function I have so far is my fill game function. So I want to comment all this out. And this is good practice for, getting code to work. So I'm going to comment all this out because display card doesn't work, and fill card pointer doesn't work, and fill card array doesn't work, and eventually it's not going to be fill card, it's going to be games. But I do have this function called fill game. So what I need now up here is I need to declare instances of Jumble Games. So I'm going to change the data type from card to Jumble Game. And then I'm not going to use my card 1, my card 2. I'm going to call it my game 1, my game 2, and my game 3. So you should be changing everything here. You should be changing everything from card to Jumble Game. And then here I can declare an array of Jumble Games. Oops. And I don't want to call this many cards. I want to call this game list. So I have 3 instances of Jumble Games called game 1, game 2, and game 3. Then I have an array called game list. I have the size, and I have an I. This is I'm going to use later for my array. I can leave that. Now I want to call my fill game function. So I can call my fill game function twice. I'm going to call my fill game function and fill my game 1 and my game 2. So all I've done so far is implement the fill game function And then I went down here. I've changed everything in here, including the comments and everything, to represent a jumble game instead of a card. And then I can call that function. Here I'm calling it twice. And let's see what happens. Now I do have up here, I have some unreferenced variables, but these warnings will be taken care of later. And I do have function prototypes up here that have green squiggly lines under them because I have not done their function definition yet. So let's try it and see if I can fill it. Enter the jumbled word. Enter the solution word. Enter the win value. Enter the jumbled word. Enter the solution word, enter the value. Okay, so that's working. So the next thing I want to do is I want to implement the display game function because I want to be able to display a jumble game. So I'm going to go down here to my function definitions, and here is the display game function. So I need to remove that comment down here. And I'm doing only one thing at a time and making sure that that works before I move on to the next. So this is going to display one jumble game. It doesn't display a card anymore. It's going to display one jumble game. All right, so it's going to print the jumbled word. And then we're going to take any game here, dot, jumbled, and then I like to copy and paste so I don't have to and change this. So this is going to be the solution word. And so we want to change this to dot solution. And the win value, you know, I thought about having you guys play a whole game with a struct, but then I think we're running out of time, but it would have been fun. Instead, we're doing something different for program 10. All right, so now this display game function definition is done. It doesn't look like there's any problems. So now I can go back here to my main function and call it. So here I'm filling the game. Then I'm going to use the display function here so I can print display my game 1. So I need to change this from display card to display game. And I need to change this from my card 1 to my game 1. And then I also need to change this from my card 2 to my game 2. And I'm not ready to do this yet, so I'm going to comment this out. So this is still commented out. The rest of this part is still commented out until I'm ready to start doing that. So now I'm going to test it. Make sure that the display game function works. Enter the jumbled word. Enter the solution word. Enter the value. Enter the jumbled word. It's a jumble word. Hopefully I didn't mess up. Doesn't really matter. It's just, and enter the win value. All right, so now it's displaying my game 1, the jumbled word, the solution word, displaying my game 2. And actually I don't like that spacing, so I probably would fix that, but you can go ahead and do that. So hopefully you understand now how to get started with this. So the next step is going to be to change this from fill card pointer to fill game pointer. So you're going to change this to fill game pointer and implement it. Then you're going to change to fill game array and implement it. Be sure to do this, make sure it works, and then test it. Do this, make sure it works, and then test that. And then make sure all of your comments and everything have been changed. And once you're done with that, then you have completed this assignment.